I'd like to start this video with a short poem. Ms. Marvel Muslim, the Thing Jewish, the villains connive, Knicks in 5. That's right, folks, because the Knicks won the NBA championship thing or whatever, and because some funny guy made a funny rhyme on the street, I have changed my opinion on Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., because this Knicks in 5 colors. In my video where I reviewed every potential commander from Marvel, go check that one out if you haven't, it's a long one. I decried this as 5-color slop for people who cannot decide what they want to build around and just want to do kindred shenanigans without having to choose a color identity. And I kind of stand by that. But I have come around because of the meme and discovered what this Nick Fury is truly for. You see, in that video of reviewing potential commanders, I also saw a lot that I said look pretty cool, but cost way too much mana in colors that don't ramp. Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. has a power-up ability that lets you play any hero in your deck for 5 mana, and sometimes 4 mana. You don't always get to choose which one, but as long as we only have options that cost more than 5 mana, it will be worth it. So first things first, let's talk about what Nick Fury does. Nick Fury costs 1 mana, but you should not be playing him on turn 1 because he has no value until you can hit his power-up ability. That costs Wooburg mana, or white, blue, black, red, green, all 5 colors. Because it's a power-up ability though, if Nick Fury entered this turn, you can discount his mana cost 1 white pip and just pay the other 4. So effectively, when you have 1 mana of every color, you can go ahead, get Nick Fury out, and activate the power-up ability to put 2+1/+1 counters on Nick Fury, then look at the top 7 cards of your library and put a hero, vehicle, or equipment onto the battlefield from among those 7 cards. Since this is a power-up ability, you can only activate it 1 time. So I hope that hero you get is a good one. I'm kidding. We're going to activate it every goddamn turn, sometimes multiple times per turn, because if you can manage to make Nick Fury blink, or I guess it's Nick Fury, wink, when he returns to the battlefield, you can activate the power-up ability again, which sets up 2 things this deck needs to have: winks and heroes worth 5 or more mana to make that mana cost worth it. Thankfully, in 5 colors, yeah, there's enough of that. We can also pack all the removal options we want. Since this is a 5-color deck, we just get to choose the best ones. And then the last bit, I'm grabbing ramp. So let's talk about the interesting part first, to keep your attention and keep your eyes on the video longer for the view duration. It's very important. Let's talk about the heroes that are too expensive to be good commanders and kind of unplayable, frankly, in any other deck because they simply cost too much. Captain America Skybound, flying and vigilance for 5 mana. Nice 3/5 body with battalion. Whenever it attacks with 2 or more creatures, you put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and they get indestructible until end of turn, so all of your heroes can swing in and you don't have to worry about blockers even if they got death touch. We have 3 different Carol's Danver in this deck. I believe that is the plural. It's like Attorneys General. And it works out great because Captain Marvel and Nick Fury are best friends in the movie. Apex Avenger is the first one. It normally costs 7 mana. Ridiculous. I won't pay it. Flying, double strike, and indestructible. Whenever 1 or more counters is put on another creature you control that isn't a Kree, you can put that many counters on this Captain Marvel, so she gets even bigger, beyond being a 4/4 with double strike and indestructible. Holy shit. Captain Marvel, Earth's Protector, has flash and flying, and a power-up ability that lets you put a +1/+1 counter on her and an indestructible counter on her. Here's another fun thing about the blink deck. Because we'll be blinking, if we have enough blink on board that we can blink things that aren't Nick Fury while still having enough time to blink Nick Fury, we can blink other creatures and get their power-up ability. Power-up abilities are discounted whenever a creature enters, not just when you pay for them. So when this Captain Marvel enters, its power-up ability is discounted by 5, regardless of how it entered the battlefield. So, if you can blink it for free, this deck should be able to, you can pay 2 mana and now she's indestructible. Captain Marvel Shooting Star is an even funnier payoff in this blink deck, because it's got flying. It costs 7 mana. I'm not paying it. Whenever she enters or attacks, you can exile 1 target creature. That creature's controller gains life equal to that creature's power. Hey, sounds a lot like Swords to Plowshares, one of the best removal evil spells in the game, and you get it for free every turn she attacks. But it actually gets even better, because whenever a creature other than Captain Marvel's Shooting Star goes into exile, you gain life equal to that creature's power. Now yes, that is Swords to Plowshares, but you gain the life too. But also, when we blink Nick Fury, who's got 2+1/+1 counters on him from his power-up ability, and is a 4/3, we get to gain 4 life every time he blinks, because he is being exiled. If we exile something else to reset its power-up ability, we gain the life for that. It's so good. Why wouldn't people play this card? It's 7 mana. Yeah, that makes sense. Doc Samson, Super Psychiatrist, gives you 1 more counter whenever a counter would be put on a creature you control, and you can tap him for mana equal to his power. Getting a little bit of extra mana is pretty good. Getting a Hardened Scales effect is alright. A lot of the power-up abilities that are in here are going to be counter-related, so you can get more counter. This one's just kind of a 3-mana dork as it comes in, and if you can make it bigger, which there are plenty of ways in this deck it'll get bigger, you can tap it for more mana. Eddie Brock is the front side of Venom Lethal Protector, but because you can transform the cards, you can just play Venom Lethal Protector, who is a hero. He's also a villain. He can be your Angle or your Devil. Menace, Trample, and Haste, all on a tasty 5/5 body. Whenever he attacks, you can sacrifice a creature. If you do, you draw X cards, where X is the mana value of that creature, and then you can put a permanent from those drawn cards onto the battlefield for free, which means you can swing in with some dummy 7-mana Captain Marvel, sacrifice it, then go grab something else to be a blocker instead. Doesn't that sound funny? Doesn't drawing 7 cards sound funny? Why would no one play? Oh, it's 5 mana. It's 5 mana. Actually, people do play Eddie Brock. He's one of the more popular commanders that we're talking about today. Franklin Richards, Ascendant, 6 mana at the beginning of combat on your turn. If you've cast a non-creature spell this turn, you get to discover 6, which means you go through your deck until you find something worth mana value 6 or less, and you can play it for free. We have a lot of 5 drops and a lot of 6 drops heroes, so this could be an extra free hero on your heroes. As far as the non-creature spells go, we got a lot of instants and sorceries specifically that we want to cast that are going to blink Nick Fury in and out. So you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to cast a non-creature spell. Yeah, you'll be able to pay for it. Giant Man, Gargantuan Genius, so many different G's, and they're all pronounced differently. At the beginning of your first main phase, you get to add a number of green mana equal to the creatures you control with power 4 or greater. Yeah, that's a lot of mana. You will have a lot of creatures with power 4 or greater, because a lot of things you're cheating out are power 4 or greater. And then you can use that mana to hard cast things from your hand, which sounds gross, but you can do it. Gwenom Remorseless has Death Touch and Lifelink, and it's basically Bolus's Citadel, but it's a creature. Whenever you attack, you can look at the top card of your library and then cast spells from the top of your library by paying life instead of paying their mana cost. And I know what you're thinking, Phil, don't we have big high mana costs in here? Aren't I going to lose 7 life if I try and play a Captain Marvel this way? All the Captain Marvels have Lifelink. You get to heal. You get to heal it right back up. You get to just slurp it back up with all that lifelink. Gross sound. I'm so sorry I made that. Hercules Olympian Hero. He gets a +1/+1 counter whenever he attacks, and indestructible until end of turn whenever he attacks. The first time he would take damage, you put that many +1/+1 counters on him instead. Not instead. You just put that many +1/+1 counters on him. This also happens on other people's turns. So if someone bolts your Hercules, he gets 3 +1/+1 counters and shrugs that lightning bolt off. What? You don't think Zeus ever hit him with a lightning bolt? He's a terrible father. Hyperion, Supreme Hero, is supremely funny, but he's also supremely 7 mana again for a 7/7 with flash and flying. Oh, flash! How could I forget? Power-up abilities can be activated at instant speed. You don't have to do that on your turn. You don't have to activate Nick Fury's ability on your turn. You can do it any other turn. Just do it. Get a free blocker whenever you want. If a source would deal damage to you or a hero you control, prevent all but 1 of that damage. And yeah, on a 7/7 flyer, this is an absolute sick effect. I cannot pay 7 mana for it in white. If I can get it for 4 mana or 5 mana, yeah, I want this on the board. Especially when all my creatures are heroes. Living Lightning, Charged Up. He's got flying and haste, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, he gives another creature +1/+0 and haste until end of turn. So you don't have to wait a turn cycle before you swing in with whatever big hero you get to drop. We also just get any haste enabling enchantment and put that on the board. You can't cheat that out, so think about that. Mr. Fantastic has Vigilance and Reach at the beginning of combat on your turn. If you've cast a non-creature spell this turn, you get to draw a card. You can also pay 4 mana. It's the Fantastic Four colors, everything but black, and then copy target triggered ability of a creature you control. You have so many triggered abilities in this deck. I can't list them all. We'd be here all day. You want to be here all day? If you do, check out that video where I rank every single possible commander from the Marvel cards. You will be here 3 hours and 30 minutes. You'll be here half the day, half a work day. I'm assuming you're working in a lunch there. Well, you're probably watching the video on lunch. Anyway, Peter Parker, I don't care about him. I care about the Amazing Spider-Man. He's got Vigilance and Reach, and each legendary card in your hand has Web-Slinging Bont. That's green, white, blue. And you have to return a tapped creature to your hand as you pay that cost. This is cheaper than Nick Fury's ability, but it doesn't let you top deck and look at the top 7 cards of your library, which is a, big reason that Nick Fury's ability is so good. But let's say hypothetically, you drew some of the big dummy heroes, and you don't want to pay full price for them. Well, after combat, when you've swung in with one of your big dummy heroes, web swing something else out, and now you can block with that big dummy hero. But also, what a great time for an intermission of ramping, because we have a lot of ramp in here, and a lot of the ramp is creature-based. Talking about things like Llanowar Elves, which taps for green mana, Absence Pilgrim, which taps for white mana. Talking about Elves of Deep Shadow, which taps for black mana and makes you pay a life. Why is the black mana one worse? Ruby, Daring Tracker, taps for a red or a green mana. She costs 2 mana, which is more than those elves, but she has haste, so you can tap her the turn she comes out. Is that better? I don't know. Crystal, Inhuman Princess, taps for the Fantastic Four colors, everything but black. Also, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you get to do X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of colors in that non-creature spell. That's just a little extra thing. She's here because she has 4 different colors, and also she's a hero, so if you do whiff with the 7, which you probably shouldn't, but if you do and she's there, you can get hurt, and she's good. She's not worth 5 mana, but she's good. Then we get things like Leyline of Abundance, so that whenever you tap a creature for mana, you get an extra green mana. And yeah, I'm glad I put all the ramp in here, and I'm glad all of the ramp is on creatures. So all of those get to tap for mana, and when they're tapped for mana, Amazing Spider-Man, he can web them up and then drop anything for 3 mana. You can tap to get the mana to pay for the web slinging cost. What do you know about that? Silver Surfer Cosmic Voyager. Whenever he enters, you exile any number of target non-land permanents you control, then return those to the battlefield at the beginning of your next end step. This can be Nick Fury, so you can get that blink going. This can also be Omen Path Journey, a card I'm going to talk about now in another ramp intermission. Omen Path Journey lets you search your deck for 5 lands and put them under Omen Path Journey. At the beginning of each end step, you get to grab one of those lands at random and put them out. People use this to do stinky land combos that win them the game. You are doing it to ramp more. For 4 mana, this basically guarantees you at least 1 land drop for the next 5 turns. If you're still hitting your land drops, you get 2 land drops for the next 5 turns. And even better, it takes 5 lands out of your deck. This is another reason we're running every fetch land in here. Fetch lands let you go look for another land. Now you get another land out of your deck, which means it's not there for you to find in those top 7 cards you look at with Nick Fury, so you're more likely to hit a big cool bomb. So with Silver Surfer, if you want him to enter and blink after Omen Path Journey has already got you all 5 of those delicious lands, it will blink, re-enter, and get you 5 more delicious lands so you can keep it going. This also works for another blinker, Wiccan, Rising Avenger, which lets you blink something anytime you cast a non-creature spell. So blink Nick Fury if you need to blink Nick Fury to reset that power-up ability, or blink something else with a cool ETB, like Omen Path Journey. Boy, I'm doing a really good job, kind of weaving everything through here. Maybe you should subscribe, huh? How about that? By the way, quick update on the last video. I said that once we hit 10,000 subscribers, we would do a charity video for the next video, and I thought that would take a month. It doesn't look like it's going to, and might actually happen before this video goes up. If that's the case, it will be the next video, unless there's a delay on YouTube's end, which I'll tell you about in the next video if I record that one after we hit 10,000 subs. I'm not trying to delay it, it's just happening way faster than I thought because y'all are very cool. Anyway, subscribe if you like this kind of content, even if we have more than 10,000 subscribers, because then we'll go to 20,000 subscribers and we'll do it again. We'll do another one at 20,000. How about that? Already promising it right here. Anyway, Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara. Whenever a creature you control does combat damage to a player, you get to draw a card card. Also, when he enters, you return one target creature to its owner's hand. Now, you could use this to get something off the board that you don't like, that's on an opponent's board. Or you could use it to get Nick Fury up off the board into your hand, and then you play Nick Fury again because he costs 1 white mana. So, you know, if you need to reset the power-up ability, you blink him by returning him to your hand and pay the 1 white mana for him, and that's the white mana you had to pay in the power-up ability anyway. It fixes itself. Spider-Man Miles Morales is one of my least favorite Spider-Man cards because I feel like they did Miles Morales so dirty in that set because they were like, I don't know, he puts counters on people. And like, really? There's the one that makes him like colorless and harder to block, or hexproof. It makes him hexproof and colorless. I guess that's fine, but he has like such a unique Spider-Man power set. So just, I don't know, vigilance and trample, and you put a +1/+1 counter when he enters and on everything when it attacks. It's not bad. I'm not saying this isn't a good card, and I'm not saying having a 6/6 as it enters because it's on the board when it enters, so you do get to put a +1/+1 counter on it with vigilance and trample. I'm not saying that's not good. I'm just saying, like, when you look at Miles Morales, 4 foot nothing, are you seeing like a 6/6 with vigilance and trample? Like, swap the art and the name of this for Rhino, the Spider-Man villain. Doesn't that make more sense for this than Miles Morales does? Shouldn't he bolt people because he's got lightning powers? Shouldn't he be red and be bolting people? Be doing 2 damage to any target whenever he attacks for a little shock? Isn't that more whatever, it's fine. This is a fine card. Well, no, I don't like it at all, but it works in the deck. Storm, Queen of Wakanda. Whenever she attacks, target creature you control that's attacking gets +X/+O and flying until end of turn, where X is Storm's power. Whenever a creature with flying attacks you, you do X damage to them, where X is Storm's power. She don't even gotta block. She's just gonna be like, no, because boy, they made Aurora Monroe hate flyers in this. I mean, yeah, it's hard to land a helicopter around her, but like, dang, she's got 4 different cards, and all 3 of them that were revealed in this set are like, I hate flyers. The Thing, Ben Grimm, he's got trample, and whenever 1 or more creatures you control does combat damage to a player, you get to put 2 +1/+1 counters on the Thing. In a game of Commander, you can do damage to 3 different players, which means you can get 6 +1/+1 counters on this sucker, and he's got trample, so he can be one of the things that's swinging at someone to do damage to them. Finally, Wonder Man lets you hit power-up abilities twice, and he's got flying, and he's got a power-up ability where you put some counters on him. I think it's 2 +1/+1 counters on him. You can activate that one twice, and the discount of him entering applies to that. Same with any other power-up ability. So you can hit multiple power-up abilities multiple times and get the discount on them multiple times. The discount on Nick Fury's is 1 white mana, so that's not like crazy good, but it's 2 mana off, so you pay 9 mana, and you get to look at 7 cards twice and get a free hero from both of them, which presumably the hero will be worth mana value 5 or greater, because that's what this whole deck is built around. I don't know if you noticed how many we just listed that are mana value 5 or greater. But yeah, that's pretty good. Now, really quickly, because this video is already actually full video length and I haven't even talked about the blink stuff, we'll talk about the blink stuff. It's not that hard, it's just all those good blink options. Teleportation Circle. I hope I changed the art out so it's not that ugly Ninja Turtles one. Conjurer's Closet. It blinks a creature at the beginning of your end step, like Teleportation Circle does. I forgot to say what Teleportation Circle does. Ephemerate blinks a creature. It's got rebound, so then you cast it at the beginning of your next upkeep for free, and you blink something again, like, you know, Nick Fury. Essence Flux blinks something. If it's a spirit, it gets a +1/+1 counter. Nick Fury isn't a spirit, but he's got the spirit. Yes, he do. He's got spirit, how about you? Daydream blinks a creature, puts a +1/+1 counter on it. It's also got flashback, so you can cast from your graveyard if you really need to hit it that way. Airbender's Ascension, whenever a creature enters under your control, put a quest counter on Airbender's Ascension. If it has 4 or more, blink something at the beginning of your end step. If it's got 4 or more counters, guess what? That means that it's Teleportation Circle, basically. And finally, Sword of Hearth and Home is an equipment you can attach to a creature. Whenever equipped creature swings in, you get to blink a creature you control and go find a free land, put on the battlefield. It does have to be a basic land card, and that is why this deck runs 5 basic lands. Only 5. The rest fetches, triomes, and shocks. Oh my. Yeah, the mana base is a little expensive. It's a 5 mana commander. What did you expect? Hopefully you expected to hit some cool heroes, and hopefully you already have a mana base for a 5-color commander so that you don't have to like buy a new one for this, because lordy, that's a lot of money. And speaking of a lot of money, like the video, subscribe, support the channel however you can. If you can join the Patreon and give us $1, $2, $5 a month because you watch a lot of the videos. I mean, we did do a 3-hour and 30-minute video this month, so that's longer than an Avengers movie. And if you watch that, $5. $5 for an Avengers movie with way less effects, writing, and handsome actors. There's only one handsome actor, me. That's it. Bye.